What's going on, my family DTubers and fellow Steamians? This is Robert Andrew once again calling live location from DTube Studios, exclusively from DTube Studios in my casa, as usual. And you know the spill. Today I want to talk about something semi-serious, I guess, pretty serious. And it's a question. If you do you have one big regret, a regret that you spoke to somebody in a certain way or you acted a certain way to somebody, or a big regret that you wish you could take back, involving that particular person or persons? Um, Me, I can think of several, but one really stands out in my mind. One big regret. It may sound a little silly, a little overblown, the situation, but it occurred back in 1994, spring of 94, and I was a 26-year-old wild and crazy guy just going nuts. I'd moved out of my parents' house the year before and moved 200 miles away in Nashville, Tennessee, and had some buddies there, and we would party every weekend and also on the weeknights. That was the norm for us, partying, drinking, carousing, and we really had a wild hair going on back then. That's what I always called it. Lasted for a few years, but I came to my senses after a while. But one of the wild nights that we had, I remember, it was on a Wednesday, and it was Penny Beer Night at a place called Rodeos. There's a country western bar in Nashville, and off Murfreesboro Pike, actually, I think it was. And you pay like $5 cover, then you get penny beer from like 7 to 10. And with my buddies, and long story short, I met a girl named Candace. We danced, we had drinks, we had a great time. She ended up coming home with me, spending the night with me, and the next morning when I took her home, we were both laughing and carrying on and having good conversation in the car, and we decided to exchange phone numbers, and we were interested in going on a date and possibly having much more than that. So I dropped her off, and I was excited. And the next day, I decided to give her a call, and only to have her friend answer, who said she wasn't there. Candace wasn't there, but she gave me another phone number to give her a call. So I proceeded to dial that phone number, and on the other lines, a man picked up. Well, he sounded a little bit hesitant when I asked for Candace, and a little bit suspicious, but he handed the phone over to Candace. So Candace, the woman I met the night before, and had I guess you could say a one night stand, if you want to call it that, but I thought it'd be much more than that. She told me she was in a relationship with the guy who was just got off the phone with me. So she went on and said that, and she said, but I quote, "Have a nice life," or "Have a good life," and then she hung up the phone. So, needless to say, that really affected me very negatively. It really hurt me. I was kind of shocked and just kind of taken back. I thought that this could potentially be something that could be, long term, because I really liked this girl. Really, she was very intriguing, very interesting, very lively, a great personality, caring, warm. From what I met her, uh, just in a day's time, she just seemed to have all the earmarks of a person that I would be wanting to be involved with potentially. So I was hurt, and to take out my frustrations, she left a ring on my nightstand. I knew where she worked. She told me she worked at an eatery called Shoney's about 3 miles down the road from where I live. So I decided I'd take that ring back, and in that ring, I would put it in an envelope, and I'd write a letter. And the letter was a nasty, nasty, nasty letter. Uh, had just had a baby, which was fine with me. I didn't, didn't affect me. And she was a slightly overweight, but she was gorgeous. And she told me that night I was with her. She wanted to lose some weight, and she was getting an exercise routine at a health spa. So in that letter, I wrote some really nasty things about her weight. Wrote that she was just a fat whale, and I'm not proud to say that, but I'm just trying to be honest here. I wrote that she was a fat whale. Then how in the world could you think I would want to have anything else to do with her other than the one night stand? And I just went on and said that have a good life picking out on food, and I was just really really mean. And I know that sounds harsh, but that's just what I wrote. And up to today, that was 26 years ago. Up to today, I still think about that occasionally. I think about how she probably reacted when she got that letter and what went through her mind. I know it probably affected her really terribly bad. It had to, because she was already self-conscious about losing weight. And me as a human being, to know that I potentially caused that much pain to another person, it still bothers me, even up to today, to think about that. And she's probably forgotten all about that. If I did run into her by chance, I would absolutely apologize, even though she may not even remember that. But I got a feeling she probably did, just because it was a very nasty letter. So if I could do it all over again, I would rip up that letter, throw it in the garbage, and never send it to her. That's the regret I have, is to not write that letter. I wish I hadn't. So that's one big regret I have in life. Even though it wasn't a family member or anything like that, it was another human being, a human being with a soul, a heart, and a mind, and it really, probably really played with her psychologically. So I just totally regret that. But anyway, that's it for me. That's my one big regret. I've had many regrets. That's one that comes to my mind. How about you guys? Let's hear of any regrets you've had, that you've either said something or did something to another human being that hurt them in a way that you wish you could take back. I'll be interested to see any of your experiences with that. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in on my channel, and thanks for listening to my story. I know it's a little drawn out, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking time to listen to this story of mine. And anyway, have a great one. As always, hasta la vista. Love you guys. Take care. Bye bye.